Hello and welcome, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. So good to see you and thanks for joining me today. Today I want to try and clear up any confusion there is between the switchover that happens that I've been talking about in recent videos and the right side of the body and the left side of the body. So let's go take a look at that. So when we're looking at the body, it can be split up into many different ways so that we can understand it, right? As a reflexologist, we have to split it up to find out where the anatomy lies in the body, right? So the first division that I want to share with you today is the right side of the body and the left side of the body. So when we look at that, in reflexology, when you first learn, the body is split down the middle and you have zones, right? But in basic terms, you're basically like the right side of your body and the left side of your body. So when we transfer that onto the feet, the foot and the hands and ear reflect the right side of the body, right? So for example, on the right side of the body, there's lungs and they're pretty much even on both sides. And then we get a little bit further down, and this is where some of the reflexes or some of the organs in the body are more on one side of the body than the other, right? So on the right side here, under the rib cage here, we have the liver, where on the left side we have more of the stomach, right? There is a little bit of a crossover that happens, but in general, if we were to split the body and move this side of the body over here and examine it, you would find more of the liver and vice versa, more of the stomach on this side. And then we also have, if we're looking at the intestines, we have the where it joins the small intestine and goes into the colon, the large intestine. It goes ascending on the right side, comes across the transverse, and then it continues over onto the left side, and then it goes descending, and then it goes sigmoid colon and out, basically. But so there's a difference there, right? It's not exactly the same, whereas the lungs in general are relatively the same, even though they're not. They're a little bit different, but they are in the same placement in the body, right? You have your thyroid, and that's pretty even on both sides of the body. But other than that, your eyes and half your nose and mouth, stuff like that, is all separated onto the right side or the left side, right? But in general, it pretty much, that's how we look at it there, is that stuff that is found on the right side of the body is going to be reflected on the right foot, the right hand, and the left, whereas stuff that's found anatomically on the left side of the body, you're going to find on your left hand, left ear, and left foot, right? So that's how it works there. So you're dividing that way, and we're strictly talking about anatomical ways it works here. Now, this is where the confusion can happen, and hopefully this gets cleared up, is there's a switch over that happens between the hemispheres of the brain and what operates the parts of the body. So if I'm moving my left hand here, it's firing in my right hemisphere, right? So there's a crossover, because over here is in a way controlling or operating this side of my body, right? The opposite side of my body. And so if I move my right hand here, it's firing from the left hemisphere, right? So there's a crossover. There's way more complexities to it, but the simple way to think about it is there's a crossover that happens. And this crossover happens kind of relatively around behind your eyebrow area, and then all that controls down that way. But anatomically speaking, like the first version, it doesn't change anything, right? This side of the body is this side of the body, this side of the body is this side of the body, right? But what the switchover, which I'll call it, the information that we can get from there is that the hemispheres of the brain operate in different ways, right? They have different perspectives, they have different job outlooks, right, for our survival. So the left side of the brain is controlling the right side of our body, right? So we can get some information there by like, for example, if you're always kind of hurting yourself on the left side or right side, or the right side is always in pain and things like that, we can kind of look at what could be happening in this brain hemisphere, right? In this brain hemisphere, I just like to break it down into three basic categories. So the left brain hemisphere, which is controlling the right side of the body, so it gives meaning to the right side of the body, that is control, right? So there's a main heading of control, because this is where we go under it. Like if we're in stress and we need to survive, there's a part of the brain sort of right around this area behind our ear here, called the central integration area, right? CIA, appropriately named, which puts us into survival mode. Anything that we've sort of similar to the situation that we're in right now, the stressful situation we're in right now, it's going to, pull up any files that will help us survive and act. So this basically is like behavioral. It doesn't change, right? It's like automatic almost response to the situation, right? So it's control. It controls us when we're in the fight or flight mode, right? So that's over on this side of the body. So we have the left brain controlling the right side, right? So the right side of our body. So it has to do with control, has to do more with kind of like masculine qualities, okay? So it doesn't mean male, female. It means like more of the masculine sort of traits, right? And then also this has to do with more of our professional side, our work, right? So outside of the home sort of like perspective, right? So those are the three kind of categories. And if you want to learn more about that, I've made other videos on it, or on my website there's actually a little mini course called the Body Divisions under your Walk Through Life category, right? So the body divisions it's called, and I go into separating the body into way more detail, and I explain more about the qualities of the brain. But if you just do a quick little internet search and right brain versus left brain, you'll see a lot of stuff show up, right? And so that's the switch over that I'm talking about. And then so this side here, which is the right hemisphere, which controls the left side of the body, has more to do with creativity, right? So we have this sort of saying, it's not actually that true, but people that are left-handed can be more artistic. It's not actually, I haven't seen that for real, but the theory there is that you're tapping more into your creative brain, right? So that's just the way that I remember it, is left hand is more related to creativity, So this brain, creative, it's more feminine quality, right? And it is more your personal life. So that's sort of like three little categories on each side to help me remember the sides of the body, okay? So what I do is I understand this little switchover that's happened, and then I forget about, the left controls the right. I just think of, okay, right side of the body, the information that I can get from there is that it has to do with control. It has to do with, masculine energy, and it has to do with work, professional life, right? And on the left side of the body has to do with creativity, right? And then feminine quality, and then personal life, right? So these kind of things you can get a lot of information from. So hopefully that kind of clears that up a little bit. So it is kind of the same, but it's completely different. So the first one that we're talking about is the actual physical anatomical split of the body, right? Then the switchover gives you more information about that quality of that side of the body. Hopefully this kind of clears up some confusion that has been about when I talk about a switchover, and people are thinking, oh, a switchover, what do you mean? I thought we were, anatomically the liver's on the right side. Why is it on the left suddenly? And it's like, no, that's not it. Liver is always on the right side of the body, mostly. There's a little bit that goes over in the left, but liver is always on the right side. It's just that now it has some other information that can be added on top of that. So hopefully that's as clear as mud. But I really like to keep it simple, and I can get a lot of information from this, and so hopefully that helps you along your journey. Take care. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. If you're interested in learning more about reflexology, you can subscribe to the channel below. It's also very helpful to hit that like button, and feel free to share it with anybody who you think might be interested in it. You can find my online courses, Reflexology Charts, and other reflexology goodies over on my website, which is balancingtouch.ca. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you have some more time, you can check out some other videos. Till next time, this is Adam Thomas from balancingtouch.ca. See you later.